The views and opinions expressed by Howard and Ridley through Reclaim the Room, including the podcast, blog, and social media, are solely our own and do not reflect the views or policies of any employer or organization. Content is provided for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute legal, medical, or psychological advice. Copyright Reclaim the Room, all rights reserved.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Reclaim the Room. I'm Ridley, and guess who's sitting in the studio with me today?
I'm Howard. I'm back.
She's back. I told you she would be back. Today, you're in for a treat. I am going to interview Howard, and we're going to see how she's been the last month. So, grab you a cup of coffee, sit down, and pay attention because this is going to be good. All right. So, Howard, before we dive into anything serious, I just want to ask, tell me something good that has happened today.
I got out of the bed. Yeah. No,
That's
I'm
right.
getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better every day. Today is a good day. And I was excited about getting up, knowing that I was coming and gonna be able to record with you today. So that's a good thing for me is I have a feeling of excitement, of enjoyment, that feeling is finally showing its head again. And I'm excited about that.
That's good. So, that kind of answers the next question I have on how does it feel to be in Reclaim the Room? Because I sure am excited to have you back. I was talking to myself.
I am excited. I'm really, really excited to be back. Excited. I'm really excited to go on this journey with you all. I talked about it, and I don't want to get ahead of you, but though this is something very personal and something a lot of people don't talk about, due to feelings of embarrassment and shame and things like that, I decided that I'm going to heal out loud. I'm going to heal with you guys. We're going to talk about this because I know I'm not the only one going through it. I know people handle things differently, but it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Exactly.
It's really nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to the best of us.
Right.
And I think Billy and I really want to show that it does get better.
It does. And there's a stigma with mental health that really I promised myself that I would never ever feed into that stigma again and I would
Yeah.
just be very transparent. And that's not an easy thing to do at
No.
all. It is difficult. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go slow. We're going to
Okay.
do some superficial questions, nothing too deep. You just answer the way you feel is necessary.
Okay.
And if you can't answer a question, just say, I don't know if I have the answer to that. And we'll move
Oh,
right
no
along.
problem. No
All
problem.
right. So let's get into the weeds a little, as they used to say. You have been off the podcast for a few weeks, and our listeners have had to listen to just me. And I know they've missed you. Are you ready now to talk about this last month?
I am. I am ready to talk about it. As I just said, I think it's something that needs to be shared. And I think that talking is gonna help me to work my way through it. Finding words has been hard for what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. And I think that talking about it can help me as well as others. So I am ready to share.
Good, good. So the last time that we recorded together was the episode about my story.
Mhm.
And I don't want to overdo anything today. So I just want to talk a little bit about your story today. What I want to ask is more questions along the lines of what has been going on over the last month. Something changed, something caught up with you,
Yes.
as it were. So, at what point did you realize that something had changed and it was getting a little bit more difficult to cope?
I didn't see it coming. I didn't feel the change. I didn't notice it coming about, but those around me did. Those closest to me, my husband, my children, my mom, they noticed things changing with the way that I was talking. The things that I was saying. I had gone really dark. Everything was doomed. The world's gonna end and things, and why is God letting this happen? What even, questioning my faith and things like that. So I didn't feel it coming on. I didn't notice it. But looking back, I can see that this was during a time where I was starting to feel uncomfortable going outside. I didn't realize it, but I was even going to Walmart. Excuse me, I needed my husband or somebody to go with me. Going by myself is just not an option. And now it's gotten to the point where I don't go at all. I just order it and have it delivered. Being in crowds of people is a problem. I got to even within my own home. I'm not, I don't come out of my room. That's my space. And the reason for that is I'm noticing is that it's so hard for me to find words. So when you walk out of your room and somebody say, "Well, why aren't you doing this?" or "Why can't you do that?" or "Do this or do that?" And it's just too much for me. It's too much for me to try to explain why I'm in my room, why I don't want to talk. So when I say I've withdrawn into myself, it's really me and my husband. That's my outlet, my husband. And I'll tell him, "Come in the room." It's not me going outside to talk to him, but come in the room and let me talk to you about whatever. So I think more so that it was the ones around me that noticed what was going on. And then when they brought it to my attention and I started thinking about it, I was like, okay, something's got to give.
Yeah.
Something's got to give.
So looking back now, you didn't notice it when it was happening. Do you see the signs now?
I do. I see some now. The isolation, the not really wanting to talk, and really you can testify to that. I will look at the phone ring, but I'll text you and say, "Hey, I can't talk right now." I am noticing those signs now, looking back at it, and I don't know what to say because I don't know if it was just me being so in my head that I just wasn't paying attention to what was going on, or is it because it took so long for those to around me to say something about it?
And that's very similar to what I mentioned in my story. I
Mhm.
didn't recognize the signs either, and I've lived with anxiety for most of my life. It was heartburn as far as I was concerned.
Uh-huh.
That's what I felt was heartburn. And it wasn't until the long weekend over a holiday that I realized there was something else going on. And then
Right,
I was frozen in that. I
right.
couldn't get out of that. So it does sneak up on you just a little bit.
Right, and that's where I'm at. That's where I was. That's where I'm still trying to get out of. It was more so the fatigue for me. I mean, I was telling you really, I couldn't move. I was just exhausted
Mhm.
after
Yeah,
having done nothing at all. I'm just
right.
exhausted.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't know what this is and what's going and it's so important that we talk about these things because your mental can really turn physical real fast.
Yes.
That it can express itself physically really, really fast. And we have to really pay attention to those signs. We have to really, and I know I'm not a doctor, so of course you don't really know everything that's going on, but really paying attention to when you start to feel like you just don't want to talk anymore.
Right.
And
Yes.
it's all the time. And I know, as an educator, when we get out of work, we don't want to talk right then. But if you're to a point where you don't want to talk at any time,
Mhm. Yeah,
and it didn't matter to me if it was my mom or my sisters or anybody important calling, I just look at the phone and be like, mm-mm, not now. I
yeah,
can't.
yeah. Yeah, and that's really not that unusual given the amount of anxiety that you had.
Right.
I still have. So, and one of the researchers that I brought up in your absence is Bessel van der Kolk. He
Hmm.
is Danish, but he's the one that wrote the book, The Body Keeps the Score.
Right.
And that is really what he talks about is the
Mhm.
trauma it stores. And so you don't notice it at first. So let me ask you this. How much attention did you pay to your mental health before this happened?
Not much, not much, because I'm always just thought of I thought of myself, I'm strong. I'm stronger than this. This can't happen to me. I'm strong. I can handle this. This is so you don't really realize that it's wearing you down. I thought, think of how it all came on at once, and I was like, it was a trigger that had nothing to do with nothing, but it was a trigger. So I think let's say, got a balloon over my head with all my past trauma just sitting over my head in this balloon. And that trigger popped that balloon and everything came down. So it wasn't that, whatever triggered me from that particular traumatic event, it wasn't
Right.
just that event. I started to think back on everything and I
Mhm.
could not stop my mind from racing. My mind just taking me back through all these different things that I had gone through. And then it becomes to where it's so much, just seems like it's just somebody throwing darts at you and trying to dodge that. And it becomes so much and that just really wears you down.
It does, yes.
So you don't really realize what you have packed away in there, what you put aside. I don't want to think about this right now. Let me compartmentalize this.
Mm,
And then when something out of your norm comes in and just shakes that bubble up or pops that bubble, it's overwhelming.
yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is, and it's funny because I started the same thing happened with me, and I started saying things like, "If you say something ugly to me, something mean or hateful, I can just walk away from you. But when it's in your head
Huh?
and the voice comes from inside you, where do you go? What do you do? You can't just ignore it because it is loud and it is there."
Persistent. Persistent. It's going to make sure it's heard. It's
Mm,
going to make sure that you're thinking about it. It's not going to allow you to just put it away again. It's just there.
yeah. Yeah, so
And
there's
that's
no hiding from it.
no, no. As I was saying before, I think I was talking about it a little bit even before. I was crying in my sleep. I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. So it's inescapable
Mhm.
when it happens. If it gets to the level that mine got to, it's just inescapable. And I don't know what I could have done differently, or if there's anything that I could have done differently to be able to process it better.
And that's the thing that we don't know
Mhm.
is how do you process from traumatic things that happen so this doesn't happen? It's
Right.
almost like you need to go to therapy before you need therapy so
Right.
you know what to do when you need therapy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was my question as well. What are some little things that you've been able to do to help you quiet the voice down, if anything?
I have been going for walks. I have been trying to get out in the sunlight a little bit and get, my vitamin D, going for walks. And sometimes, if I get really, really overwhelmed and I'm out on a walk, I'll pull out my phone and just start talking. Whatever's in my head, just to get it out so that I'm not replaying it over and over. I'll just start talking, a voice note or whatever, just to get it out of my head. I have crocheted everything in this house, I think. But those are some of the things that I'm doing. I'm talking about more because with me and in my family history, we don't really share our feelings and what we're going through. And I think that was a lot of the reason why this was so hard for me is because when it came up, I needed to be able to talk about it. I needed to be able to get it out. But being that just nobody would understand, everybody kept saying, just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. Well, what am I letting go? First of all,
Right.
that's the big thing is everybody saying just let it go. It's not that easy. And that even that I guess advice for lack of a better word, it angered me so much because I'm like, if I could put it aside,
Mhm.
I'm almost 50. I held it, I put a lot of it aside for 30, 40 years. Now
Mhm.
it came out. It's like, no, it's no putting me back.
Yeah.
I want to deal with this now.
Yeah. It's like a Pandora's box.
Exactly. Once it's open, it's open. You have to deal with each of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
it's gonna take time. It is.
right. Because
There's
some of the things that are traumatic events to us, we don't even realize it. We go through so much, we don't even realize it until it gets to a point like this. And it's like, you know what? That's something I should have went to therapy for when it happened.
right.
But
Yeah.
when you're in the heat of it, you don't really think of that. You're just trying to keep it going, especially as women trying to keep your house going, your children growing, making sure everything is going well. We don't stop for things like that.
Yeah.
But we
Ex
really have to pay attention because if we don't stop for them, when our bodies stop us, it can be crippling.
Yeah.
Can be
You
crippling.
will eventually get to where it is the center of your attention.
Exactly. That's all you can focus on.
Mhm. Yeah. How I'm gonna ask you this because this is something that still drives me crazy because I am still going through this part. How does it feel? Anxiety is a weird thing because it never tells you the good stuff.
Right, right.
It never tells you, all about your accomplishments, the good relationships you've made, everything that you've done in your life to make you who you are. It only brings up the bad stuff and then it embellishes it and then it adds a little bit extra. And so it even goes to so far as to say, so and so doesn't like you, so and so hates you,
Yeah,
so and so is talking about you.
right.
How does it feel to you to know that your brain is a liar?
It feels scary because you have to be able to decipher what's real and what's not. And a lot of times when we're talking about ourselves, we're our own worst critics anyway. So when your brain is telling you, like in my thing with my brain is imposter syndrome. It was just telling me, you know what? This is who you really are. Now, it's finally, you can't hide it anymore. You've been faking it all this time. You're not as smart as people thought you were. You're not this. You're not as good of a mom. You're not a good wife. You're not, you're this, and that really hit me hard because I was like, maybe, it makes you believe it. Maybe it's
Right?
true. I'm not as smart as I thought I was.
Yeah.
I'm not as strong as I thought I was. Because if I was, then I wouldn't be laying in my bed right now crying.
And it's coming from inside you.
Inside your own head. Nobody else said anything. That's
So
just me battling myself.
So,
And
I
that's
mean, how can that be wrong? Yes,
exactly,
exactly, yeah.
exactly.
Kinda just looking through these questions that I kinda have come up with. What have you learned about yourself over the last month?
I've learned that sometimes, and this has been important for me, is that I learned that sometimes you just have to quiet the noise around you because they care. The people around you, they care and they want what's best for you. However, everyone is nothing but a culmination of all their life events. So unless, everybody has lived the exact same life with the exact same experiences, no two people are going to go through this the same way. It's not going to be, some people might be able to just shake it off and get up and go back to work.
Mhm.
I couldn't do that. That's not where I am. So you have to kind of take advice with a grain of salt. They do mean well. So, you don't want to be ugly to them, but they do mean well. But you just have to do what's right for you.
Mhm.
Because I've been tried. People have tried to talk me out of therapy. You don't need therapy. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, and therapy along with mental health still has this stigma of you're weak and you obviously need help and why do you need help and why are you so weak type
Right.
thing.
Right.
And really that's not it. Therapy is about having someone to empty this out that is safe, is not going to get offended because you're talking about them, is not going to give you some kind of an opinion. And it really does help. I was really shocked when I first had therapy how much it
Mhm.
actually helped. It does. So, what has shocked you over the last month about yourself?
Uh, I think the most shocking thing for me going through this is the feeling of guilt. And it's because this whole event has been, because you've been here, but this has been pretty much crippling for me.
Mhm.
This has been a time where I have, for the past month, have just really literally been in bed, in my bedroom, in my bed. And the more I find myself just being exhausted and unable to get up and do things that, I feel like I should be doing. I'm used to working. I've never been a stay-at-home parent. I've never been a housewife. I'm used to working and contributing to my family and financially. And now that I'm at home, then I feel like, okay, I'm not his partner. I feel like more of a liability to him
Mhm.
than being his partner. And that makes me feel guilty. And he never says a word. He tells me I'm built for this. So he's not,
Mhm.
so he's more than supportive. But I feel guilty. I'm like, we got a kid in college. But the guilt is Me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
You know, no one has made me feel guilty about anything. It's all me. But that surprised me because I really didn't think out of all the feelings that I'm feeling, going through reliving the trauma and all of that, that feeling of guilt is overwhelming. And it's not just that. And I look back on the traumatic events that I've been through, and I'll find myself thinking, what could I have done differently so that
Mhm.
that wouldn't have happened?
Yeah.
Kinda
Yeah.
try to take on the blame for some things that I know I had no control over 'cause I
Yeah.
was a kid. But just that feeling of guilt. I don't know
Did it
how, like I said, and guys, please understand that finding words is really hard for me right now, but that's overwhelming for me, that feeling of guilt.
did it surprise you that all this stuff from the past all of a sudden was in your face?
Oh my god. It surprised me because I didn't realize it was still bothering me. It's up there in this little compartment and I don't think about it and I don't and didn't realize how much of my trauma from my childhood is affecting me.
Mhm.
Now, I have been through a lot of trauma as an educator, and I need everybody to understand that when you have, I guess you could call it a crisis, a mental health crisis, I guess, for
Mhm.
lack of a better word.
Yeah,
When you
exactly.
have that, your trauma or your memories don't they when they come out of those compartments, they don't care, which you're dealing with right now. It's like we're all here. So you're gonna have to deal with all of us at once.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And as you're
Yeah.
trying to process maybe something that happened at school, then you're thinking about something that happened when you were a kid. It's just a cycle. It's
Mhm.
just a cycle. It just, any little thing can take you back before you even realize, like, wait a minute, I was dealing with now.
Mhm.
And before you know it, I'm that little girl sitting back in elementary school.
Mhm.
You just never know. And
Yeah.
it's a lot to deal with. And I think that that's one of the reasons why your body is so tired. You're trying to process this all just constantly trying to make sense of all these different things. And your mind is just constantly going and going and going. And you're never able to make sense of it. So your mind and your body are just like, look, I don't know what else to do. You need to go find something. Something and somebody.
Yeah. Do you think that thinking back to a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, do you feel that something happened during your day-to-day back 6 weeks ago that might have triggered this, that to make it come up?
Oh, yeah.
Because you've had the traumatic experiences recently, even as an educator, but it didn't send you into this.
Right. And that's what's so peculiar about it is that my trigger this time was about abuse that I dealt with when I was a young adult, 19, 20 years old. So, and I don't mind sharing, I was sent a meme by the person that did the abusing. And it was an innocent little meme. However, just looking at that meme sent me right back to his abuse. And once that came up, then that's when I started to question everything. At 19, 20 years old, why did I let this happen to me? I'm thinking you're an adult. Why why would you do that?
Mhm.
And it just those questions also haunt me. It's like
Mhm.
looking back, I was like, what? Why would you do? Because that's not who I am now. But I
Right.
have to also realize that it took me almost 50 years to get to who I am now. So I have to give that little girl or that young lady, that younger version of myself grace. She did the best that she could at that time
Yes.
and realize that I'm no longer his victim. I survived that and he's no longer my problem. I never have to see this man again in life.
Right.
But when that trigger, that meme came up on my phone, that's not what I was thinking. I
Mhm.
was right back in there being held at gunpoint and all the different things that he put me through. I
Right.
was right back there. So that's what I was saying is those things came up, but then it led me to question the things that have happened recently. Like what I mean by that is, like I said, I'm a Christian, but I was like, why would God let that happen to me? Why would he let me go through that? And then I said, well, I guess that's the same reason he allowed this baby to be killed at school.
Mhm.
So, what God is okay with this?
Mhm.
That's what I'm thinking. And
Mhm.
when I started to say it out loud, that's when my family was like, wait a minute. That's not how we raised you. That's not that's what's
Right.
going on in your head. You're not making sense, is what they were
Mhm.
saying.
Mhm.
And I was like, if I'm s and I was thinking to myself, if what I'm saying has anything it's anything like what my thoughts are, I can understand why they think, something is wrong because my thoughts were all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, it sounds like you were just trying to make sense out of something.
Right.
If you could just assign the blame or figure out what the cause was, then
Yes.
you could move on to the next thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's
That's
not
the
always
whole thing.
possible.
That's been the hardest thing to me is who can I blame? You're looking for I just want one person to blame for everything that went wrong
Mhm.
from then on up.
Other than yourself, because
Right.
that's the first person you do blame.
Exactly. And so I
Yeah.
had beat myself up enough. So I was like, well, somebody has got to be to blame for this.
Yeah.
And I could blame nobody but God.
Yeah.
I could blame nobody but God. And it took prayer and it took, talking to just work my way through that, not you're not gonna always find one person to blame for everything. Sometimes people do messed up stuff. And
Right.
it's it's
Yeah.
it's just is and it's not your fault that they did it. But sometimes people do messed up stuff. And sometimes I have to be honest with myself that sometimes some of the things that I went through were direct consequences of decisions that I made.
Fair.
So some things I can be, I am the blame for, but I still have to work my way through that. I have to work through, okay, you did this. You
Mhm.
still got to get better. You got to accept that and move on
Right.
rather than sitting there wallowing in self, well,
Yeah.
why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. But
Mhm.
that's another way to your mental health. It just wears you down. Is always trying to, in your mind, redo something that cannot be redone.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
things you just have to accept, learn from,
Mhm.
and move on.
Yeah. I would sing for you, but, I can't
Yeah,
sing.
yeah, we're not gonna sing.
No. But the song from Frozen comes to mind, I'm just saying. Let it go, let it go, let
Let
it
it
go.
go, let it go. Right. That's when I say, I wish, and I'm learning. Some things I am able to let go. Some things are more difficult than others,
Yes.
but I'm trying to work through all of it.
Yes. So, in the sense of the body keeps the score, have you learned in the last month a certain like feeling that you get when something is about to go off in your head? Have you noticed anything like that?
I can feel the anxiety starting to build up. And it's normally just me feeling doom. I start to feel like something is gonna go wrong. It's about to happen. That's what's going on in my mind. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. It's
Mm.
about to happen. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but in my mind, my little voices in my mind, they're annoying. They won't let you go. It's like it's coming. It's coming. It's coming, and you're not ready for it. It's coming,
Yeah.
but never knowing what this doom is going to be.
Right.
And that's crippling as well because when I get those thoughts and I'm like, the safest place I can be is right here in my bed. I'm not leaving this room. I don't care who's going where. And
Yeah.
that's really not healthy at all. It's
Yeah.
really not because those thoughts are still going. Thoughts
Right.
are still going. So isolation is not the answer.
No, that is actually a very correct statement. It's also very, that's what was concerning to me when
Yeah.
I was reaching out to you and
Yeah.
you were telling me you were in your room, in your bed, and you hadn't
Mhm.
left in days. And I reached out to some of your family members and made sure they had my contact number. One of the things that helped me, and this, if you do this out in public, people will look at you, but I'm just saying. I would tell it, the voice in my head, I would say, "Stop, I am very safe right now. I am not in
Mhm.
danger and you need to shut up." Right? And so I would, same as you, I'd go walking and that would happen. And I would, before I could even talk about what was in my head, I just had to tell it to be quiet because it was
Yeah.
so loud.
Right.
I couldn't
Right.
even think. I couldn't put
Mhm.
together anything. So I just said that over and over. I think I said that continuously for miles when
And
I
I'm getting
walked.
there where I have to just literally say, "Hey, you're good." And that's one of the things, I've been working on is talking myself down. Is, like, "You're safe. You're good. You're good. There's nobody in here that's gonna hurt you. You're fine." But I literally have to say those things to
Yes.
myself.
Yes. And that's okay. That's okay. That's a good way to bring yourself back down to
Mhm.
normal, to bring that cortisol level down, to bring that anxiety down, to loosen up this up here that feels tight, your
Right.
stomach to stop twisting around.
Right.
Not that I know, I don't.
Well, I can tell you I've lost about 20 pounds.
Oh, wow, yeah,
I've
yeah,
lost about 20 pounds, and that's just strictly from not eating, just not wanting to get the thought of going in the kitchen to get something to eat.
yeah, yeah. I remember one time I lived on those little Halo oranges. I would eat
Mhm.
1 or 2 of those in the morning, 1 or 2 of those at lunch, and then that was
Yeah, that was it, and see that I have my protein shake, that's I'm drinking my milk. Well,
yeah,
I'm getting a little better, I'm starting to eat and, move around a little bit, but that's where I was for a while.
yeah,
It's really inexplicable, and I battled, I really did battle. Am I really going to talk about this? But as we were saying, I think it's important that we do
yeah,
because some see the stronger teachers as the ones who don't crumble.
mhm,
We're human. We're human. And the other thing that I learned is that faking it, that putting that teacher smile on every day and, just keeping it all lighthearted, that wears you out.
yeah,
By the time I'm done with that, I'm so tired. I was like,
yeah,
this Gary's like, why are you so tired? I've been smiling all day and I don't feel like smiling. So
yeah.
that really wears you down.
Yeah, it does, it does. So, I've been watching a little bit of your gestures, and you seem
Uh-huh.
to have calmed down since we started recording a
Yeah.
little bit. You were a little bit antsy in the
Yeah.
beginning, I was really worried about you, but we are coming up to kind of the conclusion of this little interview, but I have to ask you 1 or 2 more things. The first one is, what is most important to you right now that people listening to our episode on you should know?
Mhm. What I really want people to understand is that I bent, but I didn't break.
Okay.
And I say that because as I was telling you, really, people walking around me in my own home like I'm fine china, like
Yes.
don't say anything to upset her. We
Yes.
don't wake her up. This or if they walk if you walk in and they're talking about something, then everybody gets quiet. Well, what are we talking about? So that's one of the I want people to understand that when you're going through something like this, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean that you're broken. It just mean and really had to tell me that you're not broken. You're not broken. But it doesn't mean that you're broken. It just means that you have some things you need to work through.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So that's most important to me is that that I, first of all, understand that, the sun's still gonna come up tomorrow, and I
Yep.
have the chance to do whatever it is I want to do. My life is not over, and for a while, I was like as I told really, I felt like I was kinda just floating, like I didn't have anything to anchor me. That's one
Yeah.
reason why it's important for me to come back to this.
Yeah.
It's important for me to find purpose in something
Yeah.
because I kinda felt like I don't have anything to anchor me. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just floating around, and the unknown is scary as well,
Right.
where you
Yes.
don't know exactly what your
Yes.
next step is. I don't have
Mhm.
that right now where I know I gotta get up and go to work in the morning. So, it's kinda like, "What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do?" So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is episode 7 that we are doing, and episode 8 will come out. And are you ready to jump into episode 8 with me?
Sure.
Because I have it planned out. I just
Okay.
want you to know I have it
Okay.
planned out. What is it before I tell you what episode 8 is, I'm gonna do a
Okay.
little teaser for you.
Okay.
What is it that you need from me to help make sure that you're able to do this?
Don't let me put it away. Don't let me put it away because I really did need that month. I did need that time. I did, but I can't sit in this any longer. I have to get up and move. I need to, just keep me going. Come on, Howard, we gotta record. Come on, Howard, we need to write some stuff. Whatever it is, just keep me going because when you stop doing things, just stop. It's really hard to come back. It's hard to come back.
It is. It's hard to find that center, that normal again because
Right.
you don't even know who you are probably, and then here you
Right.
are trying to figure out where normal is. Yeah, it is difficult. Okay. So, how do you feel now after all of this?
I feel good.
Yeah.
I feel good. I really do. I need this. I will say that I need this. Sitting when you're going through something like, this mental health thing and it's not something that you're used to. Like for me, it just came up on me and I just had to deal with it. But when you're going through that and you just give up on everything because I just stopped doing everything, then that makes it worse because it's like,
Right.
what is my purpose? You know,
Right.
what I'm doing absolutely nothing. Who am I helping? You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
you really have to force yourself
Yeah.
to get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that what I have planned out for the next several episodes will be something that helps you get back into your normal, because I think it's going to help both of us and those of us listening. Our next episode is going to be about why burnout is not the right word.
Mm,
We use that word a lot.
we
I'm just
do.
burnt out. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. No, you're not.
no,
It's
no,
not burnout.
no, no.
And then just to give a little bit of maybe teaser, but y'all, I'm so excited that you're back.
I'm excited to be back. I really am.
Like, I don't know if you've even had opportunity to watch the other episodes that I've done without you, but I'm literally talking to myself, which we know I love to talk and I can talk to just about anybody, including myself. But,
We're gonna be back.
yes,
I'm coming back and we're gonna
yes,
talk to each other now.
that's right. And we can laugh, and it's good to hear you laugh. It's really
It's
good
good
to
to
hear.
laugh. It's good to laugh.
Episode 9, something about the myth of resilience in
Mm,
schools. Okay. And then episode 10, what support is supposed to feel like.
that's awesome. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then episode 11. Now, this is for those who can't or don't want to leave teaching, how to stay without disappearing.
Well, I have enjoyed sharing with you guys. There's more to come. There's more to talk about. And as I said, this is gonna be me healing out loud. That's my slogan. I'm gonna get better, and I'm gonna let you guys walk with me through it.
Yeah. And I think you're going to help more people than you realize,
I hope so.
including yourself and
Yes,
including me. Like, it's a constant thing. It
it is.
really is.
It
Yeah.
is.
So, everybody, thank you for once again listening to us. We hope that this has been an enjoyable listen, a thought provoking listen,
Mhm.
and most of all, a place where healing can start
Yeah.
just for all of us. So, thank you for helping us to reclaim the room, and we will see you
See
next
you
time.
next time.
Reclaim the Room credits, otherwise known as Teacher Duties as Assigned. Bus Duty, Howard. Hallway Duty, Ridley. Cafeteria Duty, Howard. Recess Duty, Ridley. Field Trip Coordinator, Howard. After School Tutoring, Ridley. Required attendance for Howard and Ridley, staff meetings, PLC, and every single one of those committees.